What? About
Falling.
Oh, oh, you said ball. I know. I don't even fall.
Never raise your friends up a giant rock wall, especially when it is clearly marked, do not climb. And we're not talking 1 or 2 signs, we're talking posted everywhere around the rock line. And that should be that in my speech, don't climb rock walls. But everyone's like, I'm never going to climb a rock wall, but you never know when you're going to climb one. When you have friends like Mark and Jacob, you're walking to your car afterwards, and like, wow, look at that rock wall over there, and you know you need to go and climb it. When I was 12 years old, I went to the best camp. I believe it was called Camp Don Bosco, and it's in Carnation, Washington, which is on the other side of the mountains. And when we were there, I mean, up until my last day there was the most fun I'd ever had at camp. We got to go paintballing. It was the first time I'd ever done like off-road skateboarding. It's where they put those big wheels on it, and you like get to go down. It's super fun. There was a swimming pool, and there was also a giant rock wall. And the giant rock wall, all the people had told us, don't climb it, don't climb it. They say, if you climb it, you're going to fall and hurt yourself, but I knew better. I was in shape at the time. I was like, I'm 12, I can climb. That's only 30 feet. I'm like, that's nothing. I've done way bigger things than that, way dumber. I was like, this is going to be easy. But I didn't want to be the only one to climb it, so I go to my friend Tim. And Tim's been my buddy for a long time. We're at the camp together, and I'm like, Tim, we need to climb this rock wall. He's like, yeah, we do, but not when the counselors are near. I was like, good idea. We don't want to get in trouble. So we wait, we eat dinner, we come back. It's dark out now, and we got his brother with us because he's going to watch us because we're racing to the top now. It's on. We kind of figure out where we're going to go, and we get started. So basically, I'm going to talk to you what was going through my head as I was climbing the rock wall, what was going through my head as I was falling from the rock wall, and what was going through my head when I eventually woke up. The climb. Tim's brother yells, ready, set, go! And we get off started. We take off, we're running, we're exhilarated. We know which way we're going. We're going on this pretty similar path. We're going upwards, it's 30 feet. We hit about 15 feet, I'm scared shitless. I'm scared of heights. I'm just remembering this now, basically. I look down and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to come down from here. I'm going to need help. I was like, picturing them having to get ladders. I'm getting kicked out of the camp, like, can't come down. We'll find out, it's not a problem. Okay, so once we're getting up, I'm like, wait a second, if I take a different route than him, I'm going to beat him to the top, and that was the only goal. Tim cannot win, I must win. So I go a little different way, and I'm a little ahead of him. He's about 2 feet behind me, and I'm getting near the top, and like, let's say this is the top rock. I'm really nervous about how I'm going to get over it, and I put my hand up there, and you know, like when you guys see dust in the light, you see that stuff? The rock breaks, and I can see that in slow motion, all that dust coming off, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh God, what have I done? The fall. The fall is broken into 3 stages. Denial, anger, and acceptance. When yours was falling, I'm like 6 inches away. I'm like, no, you're not falling. I was like, we're going to recover this. I'm grabbing onto something. I'm only going down a little bit. I start falling a little further. I'm like, oh God, okay, it's getting real. And this is the only time in my life where I've ever felt that slow motion feeling of falling. And to this day, I can clearly remember from me being at the top, falling on my way down. After denial, there's anger. I'm pissed. I'm not mad at myself, because it wasn't my reason I fell. Tim's the one that made me go up the rock wall. He's the one that decided it had to be a race. I'm mad at him. I'm freaking out. I'm still about halfway down now. And now I'm mad at my parents. They made me come to this camp, you know? Come here. They're the ones. They wanted a week away without me and my brother, and now we're stuck here. I'm mad at the camp counselors. If they wouldn't have put so many things up, I wouldn't have gone up the rock wall. But they tell you clearly that it's a challenge course, that to get up it, you need to be the strong man of the group. And lastly, acceptance. This is where you're near at the bottom. I know I'm about to fall. I know it's about to hurt a lot. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to be in a lot of pain. And I'm going to quote Richard Nixon, because I found this quote online, and I felt it fits really well. He goes, this is after the Watergate scandal. He goes, well, I screwed it up really good. And that's like a great quote on what happened to me on this plane. All right, phase 3, waking up. That's the last sound that I remember hearing, is a really loud crash. And then all of a sudden, the next thing I know, I wake up, and Tim's above me, Ryan's above me, there's a camp counselor, and I can hear the ambulances close by. And I'm just thinking, oh great, what happened to me? Where am I? And they go, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm sitting there thinking about it, I'm not making any sounds. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm okay. And then I try to move my arm, and it's like out of its side, and I just start screaming loudly, ah, ah! I'm in so much pain. The worst experience of my life definitely is that moment. I've never felt more in pain and shock than what happened to me right there. Longest ambulance ride of my entire life. I ended up with broken arm, wrist, foot, 150 stitches, arm, head, and then a bunch up and down my legs. I didn't land on flat ground, I landed on jagged rocks. So, it really messed me up. And the worst part about it is I missed baseball season afterwards, so a whole Little League year gone. And that's why you never race your friends up a giant rock. Looking back at this event, I'm happy to say that I beat Tim up the mountain. I was the first one to touch the top. You don't need to get to the top. It's the first one to touch the top, and I won. And if I would have followed those signs that were posted all along there, I never would have climbed the rock. I never would have got to experience slow motion. I never would have known the feeling to not know where you are when you wake up. Next time you see a giant rock wall with signs saying, "Do not climb," don't climb it unless you think you can do it without getting hurt.